Excuse me. Actually, I swear by all that's holy that the bigger a YouTube photography channel it is the less intelligent their videos are. They are highly polished, however. Here's the big difference between qualitative photography and quantitative photography. There are also people that confuse optical fact or optical episteme, people with a slide ruler, with how a photographer works. There's a lot of videos posted like that, including a big video by another famous YouTube photography channel talking about lens compression. Okay, lens compression actually does exist. Well, no, it doesn't. Those people posted a video showing two examples, showing the exact same compression between subject and background. First, they stepped way the hell back and they took a headshot of this guy with a 400mm lens. Okay, and then standing in the same spot as they took the headshot, which was framed nicely, okay, with a 24-megapixel camera. They stood in the same spot and they screwed on a 24mm lens. Of course, the person was not framed. Nobody moved, not the cameraman nor the subject. Obviously, the person in the 24mm wide-angle shot was like that. So you would have had to crop the absolute hardcore, ever-living piss out of the shot. And so that 24-megapixel picture, if framed correctly with a 400mm, where you basically don't crop at all, would have had 95% crop. And then you would have ended up with an image, unless you're going to make out something to fit inside your wallet, that had to be printed out. It was like a 1.5 megapixel size image. So you took that expensive $3,000 camera, or $2,000 really, 24 megapixel camera. Then you used a 24mm lens on it, and then, yeah. So this is proof the lens can. Now here, optical fact versus how a photographer works. Now, how a photographer worked, last I looked, Jesus Christ, last I looked, for Christ's sakes, how a photographer works is they frame a person. You either zoom with your feet, okay, or you grab a longer lens. You're like, hey, do you never seen those huge moon behind someone's shoulder? You know what I'm talking about? Like, wow, that's huge. That's someone using a 300, 400, 600mm lens, stepping the hell back, framing a person's head or torso or whatever the hell. A huge moon behind it. Wow, amazing compression. Lens compression exists because that's how photographers work. They frame their subject and they don't want to throw away megapixels. You got to crop a little bit to crop out some crap, fine. Photographers don't say, well, I could stand here in the same spot I took that nicely framed shot of you at 400 with a 400mm lens. I could screw in this wide-angle lens, and you'll be about that big in the image. The image would be this big, the image that, and then I'm going to crop in, and it'll look the same as the 400mm. No, because then you have a one, depending on the camera, of course, a 1.5 megapixel image. Photographers don't work that way. See, we have two things here in this idiot YouTube photography video that was just made. There's all sorts of videos. Lens compression doesn't exist. Optical fact versus how photographers work. How photographers work, lens compression is real. Okay? This is the difference between quantitative and qualitative BS. This is like some sort of scientific nerd with a slide rule. Some guy wants to build a log cabin. He's like, those logs are really heavy, and they're hard to move. I'll tell you what, that log is 6 inches in diameter, and it weighs 1,500 pounds. What we could do is we could gather enough twigs together, and we could bind them so they'll be the exact same thickness and the exact same weight, but they'll be just as but a lot easier to gather than those than those huge logs. So we could build a stick cabin, right? It's like, well, that's a qualitative fact. Quantitative reality, the sticks the same. We're going to bind the sticks. They'll be the same diameter as the log. They'll be the same weight as the log. They'll have the same tensile strength as the log. Well, not really. And yeah, no. The two are totally different. Well, sure they're not. They're the exact same thing. They're same diameter, same. No. Lens compression is real. Why no, optically that is an incorrect statement. Yeah, so that means the photographer's going to use a wide-angle lens and crop 95% of the shot out? Well, I guess you're right. See, that's how photographers work. They frame somebody and they take the shot and they want to crop it as little as possible because they don't want to throw away the megapixels they paid for on that $2,000, $3,000 camera. It's like, geez, I just bought this $2,000 camera, but I'm going to throw away 90% of the megapixels because I want to stand back here, shoot a 24 millimeter lens, and then I'm going to crop in as if it has the compression of the 400 millimeter, and then I've got a 1.5 megapixel image that I can't blow up, much less 2 by 2 inches. You know, an 8 by 10 will look like crap because it's so grainy because I threw away 95% of my megapixels. Does anybody understand that simple fact? Quantitative, qualitative. Optical facts versus how photographers work. Or in this case, we have theory versus reality. This is what happens like when people, like nerds with computers, and I got 6 computers, I guess I'm a nerd. They'll like design a car on a CAD machine, but then like the mechanic goes, it's like you stuck the who's-em-a-what's it up and behind the so-and-so, so in case it ever breaks, you can't reach it without taking 10 other things apart. There's these cars, this perfect example of people, they'll design a car, like we have X number of parts to fit into this cabin, I'll use a computer program to interpolate where the hell to stick crap. And then the mechanic will get the car after it goes into production. Like, my God, I can't fix this thing without like doing $1,000 worth of labor to remove this other crap. It's like, well, we fit it all in there. Yeah, but it's totally impractical now. You know, you can't fix it and you can't maintain it. It reminds me of an old episode where they welded the hood of the car shut. And they say, how am I going to get to the engine to fix it? And the used car salesman says, well, you got to find a mechanic with a really long arm so he could work on it by sticking his hand up through the tailpipe. Yes, lens compression does exist because that is how photographers work. And that other video, along with the rest of them just like it, are BS, crapola, caca. Yeah, there's a word I haven't heard in a long time. Repeat it after me. Caca. Caca. Remember, I used to hear that growing up in school. That's a bunch of caca. You don't hear that anymore. That's a slang for BS. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad I could present this existentially, empirically correct, and qualitatively correct fact about optical truth versus how photographers work. Because lens compression does exist, girlfriend. Jesus Christ. Let's make a stupid YouTube video that is factually correct, but existentially stupid! Yeah! We can't do anything wrong because we've got 10 billion subscribers. Exactly. We can't be wrong. You know, I love a lot of the YouTube photography channels out there. We've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. We can't make a mistake. No, you're right. You're perfect. Far from it.